Are you ready?
Starting now?
Oh, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And actually, I was going to do an intro of this is Sober, Not Mature After Dark. So, well, two things. It's fucking late, but that's okay.
Right.
Mike had a baseball game to go to. We could talk about that in a second, but probably the more important part, that wasn't rain. You just heard that was a clapping sound. Mike got a whole new setup because you posted that on Facebook. I don't remember if I didn't put that on Instagram, but so even though when Mike's doing that, he can't actually hear that through his headphones, but we're testing just a little bit before we started. But so if you hear that, what's going to be funny is people are going to be just quietly doing something to scare the shit out of them with one of those things. But yeah, so you got new equipment, a little boom microphone, the whole little box with the funny noises. I don't know. Yeah,
I did.
And echo sounds and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
sure that he'll get tired of that in a little while.
I will. Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, I'm done. I'm already
you're fine.
tired of it.
Again, the biggest problem right now, and what Mike was saying to begin with, is that he can't hear that right now because we were trying to mess with it before we started recording. But either way,
it's directly into the little box. I can barely hear Bill. So not that I particularly want to hear Bill, but I need to do a little give and take a conversation here. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it at least in that manner it helps being able to hear me. So I don't necessarily have a lot to say, but we are trying to have a conversation for the listener.
The listener is the most important person here.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the newcomer in a meeting, our listeners are the most important people, right?
Right.
So, a couple of, I got actually a ton of stuff. I got things I want to talk about for this week. First week of me not having a job, couple other kind of things that came across. Also, I was working on, like the coaching stuff. I want to talk about that a little bit, but we have a reading to do, right? Are you ready for that?
Oh, sure. Why not?
And I didn't say it this time. Let's get that reading out of the way. Why don't we?
Right. Well, let's get it out of the way because, it's already 10 o'clock at night here in Cleveland, and I'm burnt.
Right.
All right. So, yes, my reading. This is from God Grant Me. Actually, one jumped out at me this week, but Bill posted it. So, yeah. So I found another one.
Oh, I was going to say, you know what? I think that who knows if anyone would read it if the other one.
I thought about it too, right? The cross section and all that good stuff. Somebody may have seen it on Instagram or Facebook, and somebody might not have, but whatever. So we'll roll around to it in another couple months, when everybody's forgotten it, including myself.
Right.
Anyway, so this is September 12th. Jesus Christ, it's late. Let's try. Take 3. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James. Didn't have time to Google him because Bill sent the link. Anyway, as active addicts, we walk through life as if we were disposable. Shame kept telling us that we had no value, And over time, we acted as if we had no value. We acted as if how we conducted ourselves didn't matter, but it did. A fellow addict used to say that it wouldn't matter if he dropped dead tomorrow. When he died of his addiction, there were many tears at his funeral, especially by his children. We must go out into life and make a difference. With each new day that we stay sober and live by spiritual values, we get rid of a bit more shame. Over time, the shame goes away and we start to see the happiness that our new way of life brings. We see that just being at home, playing with our children or spouse makes a difference. We see that being a good employee makes a difference. We see that just being a good citizen makes a difference. We see our value and it makes us happy. Prayer for the day. Higher power, when I'm not able to see my own value, help me to see that I make a difference. Take away my shame. Today's action. Actions, because this is a program of action. Today, I will practice walking through the day as if I make a difference. I will work to be helpful to others and to conduct myself with dignity.
Nice. Now I wrote down a few different things. Of course, act as if,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean that's something that God, we were probably easily it just a I mean brand new at the Keating Center when
Right.
somebody had said that in the meeting, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
was and I know you've said it on here. We talked about it on here.
Right.
I don't know how many times, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It
Yeah. It's a huge part of my program. Acting as if to this day, 13 plus years into this, I still sometimes have to act as if because my little sick, twisted brain wants me to do something else, and I know I can't.
right, and that goes along with the the fake it till you make it thing too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Same thing.
but I know you said that before. Act as if you care and you'll care, and
Mm-hmm.
act as if you're a good human being, and all those sort of things. So,
Right.
but I wrote down three other things. I wrote down disposable because you said that because obviously that's how we feel about each other.
Mm-hmm.
People we hurt, that was a big one. But
Mm-hmm.
then rid of shame. So people we hurt, and that was the like you said when the person dropped dead, or
Mm-hmm.
died from the addiction.
Right.
And yeah, you mentioned, obviously the children and tears and all those sort of
Mm-hmm.
things. And that's one of the main things that we've talked about too, because you're the one that says it best. 100 miles away, sitting in a hotel room, we're
Yep.
still hurting people,
Absolutely. Yep. I would say we affect other people, good and bad, and
Right.
there's nothing we can do about that. It's just the way it is.
And then being rid of shame. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that might actually be something that's on my list or was on my list at one point. I don't remember. Did we ever talk about shame or no?
I don't know. We may
um,
have, we may not have. You know what? We're probably going to talk about it again.
well, and because I just thought about that, we get rid of some of the shame and stuff like that, and I
Hmm.
suppose that goes to, not regretting the past and all those sort of things. But
Right.
when you first got sober, I mean, do you think that you were like full of shame, or did it take a
Mm.
while to actually feel that, or do you even
Mm.
remember?
I mean, oh yeah, I was full of it, and
Well, I know you.
right, yeah,
Well,
I was still full of it,
we're
but
talking
no,
about shame.
but not shame, but right, exactly. Yeah, I had plenty of it, and hey, guess what? In early sobriety, you start remembering things and you start feeling things, and yes, the shame increases before it goes away. Absolutely, that's I would think fairly normal, and
Right.
that was certainly the way it was for me. Um, yeah, yes, I felt shame and then I felt more. And and then I probably felt some more.
Right.
But thankfully today, I don't. I not much, and when I do, I recognize it right away and go, ooh, that's not good. And I need to fix it. So yeah, because clearly I did something wrong. So I need to make amends and apologize and change my behavior. And
Right.
and that's kind of the way we live today. So yeah, the shame doesn't build up, and I just talking to somebody about that. God, yesterday, um, the person, actually my real estate agent, um, dropped off the tickets for the baseball game tonight, and he sponsored someone we know, someone we've talked about, someone who we will not name on this podcast.
Right.
Um, Yeah, who's but he sponsored him for a while. I'd forgotten about that. And we were talking about shame and lying to people and the guilt and that cycle. You feel, you fuck up, you lie, you feel shame, you got to get loaded to cover it up, then you feel shame for getting loaded, so then you got to do it again and again and again in that vicious cycle. And we both just looked at each other and said, we're so happy we don't have to live that way today. Yeah,
Right.
that was, yeah. Right.
Well, and and I haven't thought about, and like I said, I don't remember if I wrote it on my list at one point, but when
Hmm.
I started thinking about that, when we just started talking about it, and when when I got out of detox, both Kathy and our mom were there, and
Hmm.
I was in the car with Kathy, and Mom was following us from Wisconsin back to Indiana,
Hmm.
because I think that yeah, because she wasn't in. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. She was in the car with us then, and then maybe it was between Indiana and Ohio, whichever one. But I started. I was talking to Kathy about it, and I think one of the first questions I asked her, I'm like, "What did Mom say? When you told her?
Right.
Because there was a lot of shame because what I was concerned with at that point was being compared to, our dad, you know,
Mhm.
and these things came back, and again, our mom and I had our things at certain times in my mainly my teenage years, from the time I was probably 14 years old
Mm,
until shit easily early 20s, and
right.
that's when my dad was back in my life, and she didn't like that.
Mhm.
I don't think that either one of them, I'll just say that that's the easiest way to put it, neither one of them handled themselves accordingly when it came to us.
Mhm.
And some shit happened during that time frame, but there were plenty of times when I was compared to him. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
And at those times, it wasn't necessarily true, because
Mhm.
when I was, 16, well, 17, 18 years old, when I first started drinking, I was just hanging out with friends and doing what I was doing. But all said and done, that's what I had asked Kathy. I'm like, what did she say? I'm like, was she mad? Did she kind of say, oh, I knew this was going to happen?
Mhm.
Kathy's like, no, I don't remember the exact words, but it was more so that she was genuinely concerned and not
Right.
mad and not and I told you so or anything like that.
Mhm.
None of that ever came out of her mouth.
Right.
And those things that had happened when I was, again, 16, 17, 18 years old.
Right.
And at this time it's 22, 23 years after that. But I held on to that, and I felt shame for becoming what I was, I don't know, maybe what I was accused of being 20
Mhm.
years ago.
Mhm.
But then the other one was Dawn, and that's
Right.
that's my son's mom. So she had been texting me the entire time I was in detox, and then Kathy had ended up getting hold of her after I got to the Keating Center and told her what was going on too. And the same
Right.
deal. I'm like, I felt shame for once again. Now she had the right to accuse me of what I ended up, because I was, and
Right.
everything she said, everything that Dawn said was 100% true, but clearly, and this isn't going to surprise, well, maybe it's going to surprise you, but
Mhm.
I disagreed with it at the time.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
I know. Sarcasm, sarcasm.
Right.
But,
Right.
um, but yeah, I mean, there was a huge amount of shame, and then, and really
Mhm.
probably with any family member at that time, when it came
Right.
down to it.
Sure.
Mark, Kathy's husband at the time.
Mhm.
Like you said, I mean, it's, you have it, you dealt with it, and I couldn't imagine. Is that, I mean, that's one of the things they tell us, is being able to get to that point where you can walk down the street and not have to. People used to say that, not have to look at your shoes all the time.
Mhm.
And it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's wonderful. Yes, I get to look you in the eye because I know what I'm doing is right. I know my thoughts are not, but my actions are, and that's all that matters. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Feels pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but try pull your microphone up just a little bit towards you.
All right.
Yeah, because I was getting just a bit of almost a, like, just a quiet. Then the volume
Hmm.
was. adjusting a little bit.
Okay.
Again, it may come up on the recording without any issue whatsoever, but
Right.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm moving around. I'm getting used to it too. New
No,
equipment.
that's yeah. Mike's got it.
Yeah,
Mike's got new equipment.
I do. I have to learn how to use it.
Right. Yeah, just pull it towards you, Mike. Come on, pull it towards
All
you.
right.
No, I'm just kidding. It's but no, it just and yeah, throughout this, if we if we do that, we're one of those as we said before, we just we just fucking test along the way. We spent
We're a
what
work
did we
in
spend?
progress.
Yeah, what 4 minutes I think before we started recording,
Yeah.
testing this
Yeah.
out.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's one way or the other. We're not looking at progress, not perfection, right?
That's right.
So, but I mean, seriously though, and it's funny though. I remember that reading. And which one was it that? Well, I don't know which one I posted. So it was a God grant me one. I knew I posted one.
Yeah. Whatever one you posted was the one that jumped at me this week. I went, ah, shit. All right, fine.
Yeah. Well, you know
Find
what?
something
It's
else.
just like we always say. Imagine that it actually must have jumped out at me too, right?
Right. Yeah. It was, 366 readings in there. I'll find something else.
Right. Well, cool. No, that was a good one though. Anything else from you on that? But those were my main things. But the shame one is kind of really what popped
Hmm.
into my head when you were talking about that because yeah, and and like you said, the individual that you were just talking about,
Right.
I can only imagine because there's not been you know that open conversation with well, I'm not going to say not with anyone, but
Hmm. Not with
you
us.
know, yeah, not with us, and certainly not with I'm sure a lot of people. And having
Right.
that, I don't know.
Yeah, because he just kinda asked me. He was like, "Hey, have how's he doing?" Whatever, and so that he didn't know the story either, and I
Oh, really? Wow.
oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, 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 that was, one of the comments. He was all, "Shit, man, I was a sponsor. He fooled me." I said, "Yeah, he fooled everybody, including us,
Right.
so don't
Right.
feel bad."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's like you said. Thank God we don't have to live that way today, right?
yeah, exactly, no bad lessons,
Right.
thank you for the example of what not to do.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
But no, seriously, I did. I like that. But any other ideas from or any other comments on that
No,
the reading itself?
no,
No. No.
no.
All right. So I've got you want to hear a couple of work things and things that I told you I had that story about when I was supposed to possibly continue working for another week. Did
Mhm,
I tell you that?
mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think I brought it up before Coach Dave came on, and
right.
yeah, his episode actually was doing really well, and he thanked
Good.
me a couple of times on Instagram for
Mhm,
making it so easy, for him to share the clips, and there was a couple of people that commented on the clips to him directly. Must be people he
mhm.
knows, and
Sure.
it seems to be, like I said, it seems to be playing pretty well. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah, it was a
Selfish
good
and
conversation.
self-centered dick that I am, I enjoyed it. So, yeah. I don't care if everybody else did.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But
No, it was a
so
good episode, definitely.
yeah, I thought so. I thought so too. All right. So, and I had, I don't even, God, I know I mentioned that I was going to leave my job. I can't remember how much I talked about with this, but I'll just start with what happened like recently. So my,
Yeah.
my last day at my real job, my full-time job was last week, Friday. So, coming up to that, we had, and this is the whole problem with one of the reasons I wanted to leave, but our management staff went down from like 6 people down to three during the 3 years that I was there, which means that the three of us were doing the work of six basically.
Mhm.
And when I put in my notice, I gave him this long list. I'm like, this is what you really should do. This will help, get these things in place and blah blah blah.
Alright.
He could have got some of those things, rolling, but he nothing. He did nothing in that two
You
week
chose
period.
not to. Right.
Yeah, he chose not to.
Mhm.
And I was working with James, who is the assistant collection manager. Also worked a little bit with Carrie, who's our operations manager. And then James had asked me. He's like, he was texting me the one day. I don't know. I think whatever day it was doesn't matter. But he's like, any chance of you, staying through the first week of July? And I'm like, no. I said, I got plans, coming up,
Mhm.
which I do, I do and I
Right.
don't type of thing. But
Yeah.
um, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's right. he's going to be off the week of 4th of July. He always takes that time off. Family up in
Mhm.
Door County, which is, a place they go every year. And,
Right.
I'm like, I said, I apologize, but I said, I gave Greg some, uh, direction basically. And,
Mhm.
hopefully, things will work out. And then Carrie, our operations manager, a couple of days after that, sent me an email about my insurance and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, I know James already asked, and I know you said you were busy, but any chance that you could just, work that 4th of July week,
Mhm.
basically the 4 days, the 4th is on a Tuesday, this and that.
Right.
And she's like, this is what the deal is. And James is going to be gone. I haven't done these things before, and that'd be a huge help. And I said, well, I went through all this different stuff, and I said, okay, I will consider doing it because I do enjoy Carrie,
Mhm.
and I enjoy James and all that stuff. But basically, what I did was I said, this is what I could make. If I was doing something on my own, this is what you're being paid. Split the difference and pay me this, and I'll do it.
Mhm.
So basically, it was I could get for working 4 days a week or 4 days that week, I would have made like $100 less than I normally did for working a full week.
Mhm.
So she comes back and she's like, "Well, we're going to do this and blah blah blah," and it's like
Mhm.
it's less than a
Mhm.
$100 difference of what I wanted, but she's
Right.
like, "We're going to pay you, just pay you a straight check, no taxes, so you're actually making more." I'm like, I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, "I'll let me get back to you after lunch." So I did, and I said, "Here's the deal." I said, "I don't want to deal with an extra 1099 because I got to pay taxes on that." um,
Right.
and end up with less money and all this different stuff. So I said, nah, I'm going to pass and, send my computer back, all this
Mhm.
different stuff. So she emails back and she's like, I'm confused. She said, I thought this was a go if I, got you the money you wanted. She's like, it's almost the same, but,
Mm.
but actually more. And I said, no, it's not.
Right.
I said, I've
Right.
got,
No,
I
you
said, I,
yeah, you're yeah, right. You're giving me a straight check. It's less work for you.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
have to claim the income,
Of
I
course.
mean, I have to. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe if I was just some normal everyday guy, and I only mean that in the fact that if we didn't have all these sideline things that we're doing, that there's going to
Mhm.
be, even if it's a little bit, there's money coming in that I have to claim as self-employment income. I'm like,
Sure.
I don't need red flags.
Right.
So I said no. I said, and on top of that, I'm like, I don't know how much Craig shared with you about this, but I'm like the difference in this and that. Then I explained everything that was promised and this and that, and I said, no,
Mhm.
I'm done. You know,
Right.
and I
Right.
told Kathy about it. I said, and I think the more I thought about this, and I think I could, well, not even think, I can easily relate this to a sobriety thing because you and I
Mhm.
talk about all the time. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
usually something where, it could harm us, which
Right.
technically this wouldn't have harmed me, but I know what would have happened is I would have committed to it. I would have been just grumbly the entire time, and it would have pissed me off, and it would have cost me or caused me more mental anguish than anything.
Mhm. Right.
And it's not worth it, you know.
No, it's not.
So I emailed her back and told her that and didn't hear another thing from her. So I'm sure she was
Mhm.
pissed at me, but I'm like,
Mm.
whatever. But
Mm.
here's the interesting part. And I noticed this, God, I think last Sunday or Monday. Um,
Mhm.
I haven't had heartburn since I quit,
Mm.
except for after I ate my pizza tonight, a little bit. But I mean, that's the I put Philly's cheesesteak on there. I get mushrooms. It's the sauce. It's the garlic, whatever. It's
Right.
the mix that's going to give me heartburn no matter what.
Mhm. Right.
But it was a little bit. And there were times when over the last God, probably it's been a while. I have
Mhm.
Gaviscon. I don't take it every day, but there's certain times when I know I'm going to get heartburn. Well, I
Right.
was up in Appleton and Brian made this wonderful meal, but had some spices in it for Saturday night. And normally I would have
Mhm.
got heartburn. It's a pesto based mix.
Right.
Pesto always gives me a little bit of heartburn. Nothing.
Mhm.
Then in
Mm.
the morning, he made this. He was going to make steak and eggs, but actually made for the Father's Day breakfast. He wanted to do this. He made this big old salad with like a Caesar dressing. Normally, give me heartburn. It didn't. Then he made this. He made fillets, cut them up into nice little strips with this big thing of seasoned vegetables. It was fucking wonderful. But
Sounds
again,
great. Yeah.
kind of heartburn on a plate. Not a bit.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I'm like Jesus Christ, man, because I know it's the food, but I also do know because the doctor told me years ago. He said
Mhm.
that you even after I had the stomach surgery and stuff like that. He's like, you guys, if you get it every once in a while, he goes, it could be stress related,
Right.
and
Oh,
that
absolutely.
it 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 blows my mind because I'm like, seriously. So literally within 2 days out of that job, my heartburn went away. That's fucked up, isn't it? I mean, in a good way.
Right. Good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's yes, our mental anguish can affect us physically. Absolutely.
It just it I've never well, I was gonna say I've never had clearly I've had it, I just didn't know it. So
Right.
but here's the deal. I'm like, okay, so if this whole thing that I'm working on for whatever reason doesn't work, I mean now I obviously it's one of those things. Life's too fucking short, man. I need to make the right decisions on whatever type of position I would get into again.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I was going to say I think I know part of it. I knew I was done with managing people. We had a lot of things going on. Things weren't necessarily as smooth as they could have been. All those sort of things. But I don't know, man. It was just it blew my mind. That's the only thing that I could say. It just fucking blew my mind.
Well,
So
good.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
again,
right.
in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes. That's great.
Yeah. But so the other thing, I know we wanted to talk about Founders Day and kind of the
Oh
wrap up
yeah.
with that, and that was one thing. I mean, I know it seems like it's been 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
But I mean, seriously, it seems like it's been longer ago than that. But last quick thing, and
Mm.
I posted about, and you'll end up seeing it on Facebook, but I posted what's coming up with the coaching and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
kind of did a quick little write up on that. I've got the website done. I started an Instagram page, which doesn't really have much on there. Got a couple other things I'm working on, all the background stuff, a lot of stuff to do on the website, kind of like it was with the web store, but a few other
Hmm.
isms, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, once I get all said and done, and actually I'll end up I can give you the password, and I want you to take a look at it too and see what you think. But
Okay.
yeah, been working on that all week, and it's been good, but a lot of work again, but all good progress and that stuff. But yeah, it's out there now. Oh, I want to ask your opinion. So
Okay.
you may or may not care, but you know where I'm coming from with my anonymity. Okay, let's put it that way. It's the easiest
Hmm.
way. So
Sure.
that I'm not open on social media. I've never been open at work or anything like that,
Right.
unless it's somebody I know. But
Hmm.
my thought is if I'm going to do this, the more people that know, the better. That's number one. But
Sure.
I also think that it could be possible for me to, kind of go after and work with businesses and organizations, because some of them, if they don't have some sort of alcohol awareness program, there's people that could do that for help out with businesses. So I was thinking LinkedIn, because I've got a huge following on LinkedIn,
I lost
and
you.
do a business page on there, the whole bit, just another opportunity to open up. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how do I do this? How do I what type of post do I have or what type of thing do I do? So, what my thought was, I'm just going to start posting as if everyone fucking knows already, you know, just like not even say, hey, this is what, I explain myself, just start posting shit because people, at least in my opinion, especially in this day and age, you know, nobody's gonna say, "I didn't know that," or like ask questions. Nobody wants to ask anything anymore. So what do you think? And you know what? I don't hear you right now. I think you. I think I lost you. I'm gonna hang here for a minute. I'm still hanging. Let's just see here. Yep. Okay. Um. All right. We're gonna pause, but you guys won't know any difference. Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober, Not Mature,
Hi
and
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we
Two.
wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com, and we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. And how was that not having a lead into the commercial? It just seemed to be a little bit better since I lost you. Anyhow, we just did a commercial break, and now here we are.
Thank you for that word from our sponsor.
Yeah, there you go. That's the wrap up. That was do that. So that was a word from our sponsor. Do that.
So that was a word from our sponsor, and now back to our program, Sober Not Mature.
And I just love the fact that we do this shit right on the fly. It's like all these things that people would actually care about. I'm gonna write this down. Hang on, other podcasts, because I've talked about this before, but I want to come back to that because I don't want to interrupt our thoughts. So as we were ending off, what's that? Yeah,
we have thoughts.
I think so. I think so.
All right.
Okay, so anyhow, the whole social media thing, blah blah blah.
Right.
You know, I said so. What do you think on that? Just in it's kind of like we were talking about, but I mean, what do you think? What's your opinion on it?
My opinion is about time you got out of the closet.
Well, and and I've never been. Just so everyone out there knows, and I think I've talked about it on here. Actually, I know I have. I am not embarrassed about who I am, what I am, what I'm doing, and all that stuff. But I was extremely concerned about being open about my alcoholism and my sobriety, based on the type of again business I was in. And I was highly visible for a lot of years. I haven't been in a while, and it's to the point where if I'm going to be doing something that's recovery related, it makes sense. But even it's to the point where I'm like, I'm just fucking done. I'm just done.
Right.
It's just stupid. So
right. It's time to be Popeye.
Time to be what?
I am and Popeye. I am what I am, and that's all what I am.
Right.
So, yeah.
So yeah. But
right. And we've talked about it too. I was the same way. I still am when it comes to work. I don't there's a small circled triangle on my truck. But I don't talk about it. Actually, it's funny. This week I had a ride along with one of my fleet managers, the good one, and and it was nice. We spent like most of the day in the truck together. And several months ago, I needed some time off for one of the fundraisers at the eating center, and I just it kind of kind of came out, and again, I wasn't real open about it. I just, I'm doing this fundraiser, blah, 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 blah. And it came, yeah, it was a recovery house. I was still kind of not being real specific about it. And, it's fine. He's a nice guy. He's a nice kid. I don't know, he's about 30. And, he started to ask and then he stopped himself and then he asked anyway, how long,
Right.
and I just said, since again, that's always been my policy when it comes to that. I'm asked a direct question, I'm going to answer it honestly. And he asked, and I said, no, it's okay. You have 13 years, and he said, oh, that's great. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, so we were out riding around this week. It came up again. He was like, how long do you have again? I said, 13 years. He said, that's great. We talked a little, not a lot, because he's respecting my boundaries and blah 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 blah. But yeah, again, I understand because I'm not super open at work about it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it just I don't know. I mean, I'm just I haven't really been asked, and we were talking about that with Coach, and we had talked about it with other people that,
Mhm.
I mean, if people ask, I usually say the health choice thing and whatever. Just people
Right.
don't push, and um, I don't know. It just really has never come out in conversation. Actually, the Carrie that I was talking about, our
Mhm.
operations manager at that company, and also does HR. When it came up shortly after I started working there, within the year, the first year
Mhm.
that I was there, um, I think she something came up about whatever, and I said no. I said I don't drink or whatever, and she's like,
Mhm.
"Did you always not drink?" I'm like, "No, I used to, and
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
decided not to for health choice thing." And she's
Mhm.
like, "Okay, I won't ask any more questions," and she left it
Right.
at that,
Right.
because
But
her
but
HR
clearly,
brain kind of came in,
right. Exactly. Yeah. Same thing with my boss. Right. Yeah. Same thing. But again, direct question. Yeah, got to answer honestly. It's what
right,
we have to do. Yeah.
right. So yeah, that's what I figure with again, I don't know that I would do well, who knows? I mean, I don't have that many and I've done it on purpose over the years. I don't really have that many followers on my personal Facebook page.
Mhm. Right.
The thing that I want to use is LinkedIn though because I do. I mean, I think I started doing a little bit of searching on there over the last couple of weeks actually, and there's businesses on there that sober this and sober that and whatever in
Mhm.
there. So there's actually people on there with their last names are sober. And I'm like, well, if you're a fucking drinker, man, that'd be a tough name to go through,
Yeah,
you know.
really.
But I mean, it's like, well, I suppose if you were sober and your name was like, John Elkey or something like that,
Mm.
or
Jack Daniels.
yeah, well, yeah, Jack Heroin.
Hi, I'm Jim
Ugh.
Beam.
Right. Well, all good points. All good
Right.
points.
And I am an
Um,
old granddad. Anyway,
and you're a wild turkey too.
yes, I am.
But yeah, so I just figured that, and I don't know. I mean, I just have all these different connections there. There's just a ton of people. I don't even know how many people I'm connected with on LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
it's enough,
Sure.
and just with that, it might be an opportunity, and I can set up the business page. That's where what I'm now doing, and just
Mhm.
throw it out there. I mean, again, who knows? I mean, say I don't even know how many people I'm connected with. That there's probably a handful of people I'm connected with that might know
Mhm.
just from over the years, but I don't
Sure.
even at this point I don't even know, So
Right. And at this point, it's kind of irrelevant.
right, yeah, I just
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, the more I thought about it, and again, had there been a purpose to do it over the last even 3 4 years, I might
Mhm.
have done it. But this seems to be this is the right time, and why
Sure.
the fuck not? So right.
Right. Mhm.
Well, cool. All right. So
Yeah.
did you have something else to say? You just had that yeah,
No.
like you were going to say something.
No. Nope.
And it's funny because well and I think everyone else knows this listens to us. It's you start to talk, I shut up, and I that's what I
Right.
did. 'Cause usually it just that's how we work, and
Mhm.
it works out well. But so the other podcast thing, the reason I was laughing so hard about that is just in once again I was listening to some other podcasts this week, and there's a few that I listen to that I enjoy, and they're ones I
Hmm.
listen to all the time. And
Right.
but one of them, it's again, it's a younger female. She's been sober for, I don't know. There's the dogs.
There they
3 or 4 years or something like that.
are.
And I think I mentioned before, she's the one where her mom's been sober for like 30 some years or something like
Yeah, I
that.
remember
So
that. Right.
yeah, young. She's got a new age idea, but a lot of old
Hmm.
school thoughts in her from her mom. So
Right.
she's relatively interesting to listen to. But
Hmm.
I don't know. She had this one guest on, and in the same thing, it just people are talking about whatever, and it's like they had this tragic circumstance where you and I would probably fucking laugh on what they went through, and she's just
Right.
like, "Oh," those sort of things, and having like true compassion for what this person dealt with and how they were
Mm,
feeling, where you and I would probably be like, "Holy fuck, that's hilarious."
right.
Oh, like you were falling on your face with your pants down. I mean,
Exactly.
but the same thing, how she opens it up and ends it, just opens up her podcast with, "Hope you're having a fabulous week," and this and that, and all
Mm,
this different stuff. And I'm like, again, I I know I keep saying this. I'm not making fun of her. It
no.
cracks me up because we are just so fucking different. And so on the other spectrum, on the
Right.
other side of things, there's the
Hmm.
left and the right, and we're not talking politics, but
No.
whatever side we're on, all these other people are on the other side.
Right. Right.
and,
Yeah.
and you know what? I like that. I actually,
Exactly. I mean, yeah, right. Touchy feely has its place, and so
Mhm.
does a finger in your chest.
Right, right.
And we needed the finger in our chest.
Well, and there was we got approached by another guy over the last couple of weeks, and he's in the process of starting a podcast. And
Hmm.
I, same thing, back and forth. The questions I ask people: Have you listened to us? We're not for everyone.
Hmm.
You
Right.
need to see what you're getting into. He's like, I'd like to come on and like have you guys come on, and it's back and forth. And I said, well, do this. Get yourself set up, listen to some of our episodes, and I
Hmm.
said, let's talk, let's go from there, type of thing. But
Right.
and I told him, I'm like, we're not like everyone else, but I said
Right.
we're to begin with, we didn't care enough to try to make ourselves like anyone else, and
Hmm.
and now we're just kind of proud to not be like everyone else. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just cracked me up when we were, sitting there again trying to get this shit back from our failed break. But
Hmm.
all right. So anything else about that? That's the open part. Oh, Founders Day.
Oh
You
yeah,
want to talk about that? I mean, Founders Day was cool, but
it
I
was.
mean, we went down there. Kathy and I came out. So our sister Kathy came out. She
Hmm.
was hanging out at her friend's house on that Friday night. And
Right.
then you and I recorded that. Oh yeah. You and I recorded.
Did
And then we
we
had
did?
Founders Day, and it was just kind of funny. So it was almost a, what you want to call it, like a comedy of errors when we first got there. I mean, we got registered and all this stuff, and it was fine. But
Sure.
then we were trying to do the typical. Might as well go over to Dr. Bob's house because you wanted to get definitely wanted to get a T-shirt, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I've gotten a T-shirt every year. I've been there, and wanted to get one for this year. And yeah, we I haven't gotten one in a few years because we haven't been there. And yeah, so we want. Yeah, they don't sell any merchandise on the. It's on the University of Akron campus, and for whatever reason, they don't allow vending on the campus during that, which is fine. So yeah, the only place you can get an official, unofficial Founders Day T-shirt is across the street from Dr. Bob's. All the neighbors around there set up tents and stuff and sell crap to us drunks. Um, so I needed some crap. Yeah,
Right.
so we were trying to get to Dr. Bob's house, and they have shuttles that run from the campus to his house. It's a mile and a half away, something like that. And every year, there's vans, and they have them running out of the same place they have for every year. Well, this year there's some construction going on around the campus, and the van pickup wasn't in the usual spot. And for a bunch of drunks that are trying to be honest and trying to smash their egos and humble themselves, everybody had a goddamn opinion, but nobody had an answer. It was we're stopping people, and oh yeah, well, I think it's over, and real authoritative, yeah, I think it's over here, but they don't fucking know, and I'm starting to get a little annoyed. It's again, you're supposed to be being honest. You're supposed to, if you don't know, say you don't know. And they weren't. Every person to a person had some sort of answer that wasn't an answer. They had an answer that contained no information. So we ended up driving over there.
Well, the first thing when we were walking down there because our cousin's wife
Mhm.
Carla and her daughters were there, and
Right.
so they met us down there, which is cool because what
Mhm.
we saw her at the Megan and Michael's thing where they had the band back in February. So
Right.
I mean, we had seen her, but again, it'd been a handful of months ago. So it was nice
Mhm.
seeing her. But she had the kids, and the ones in the stroller, the other one's kind of, she's walking clearly. I mean, she's like 8 or 9 years old, but she's just like moo, and then we're doing the
Right.
same thing. We're like moo because we're fucking. She's young and doesn't want to walk. We're old and we don't want to walk around.
Right.
But when we first got down to the thing, so like you said, construction. So there's areas that we used to be able to walk right down this way. We can't. It's all the way around
Mhm.
here. We used to be able to walk this way. We can't. We got to walk all the way down here. And then we did. We weren't like egotistical thinking, we'll figure it out. We asked somebody, and the first one
Right.
was from where the Big Book study is the auditorium, and
Mhm.
she was one of the people working the event, at
Right.
least
One of the
part of it.
volunteers. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought I saw the name tag. That's why I'm like, I gotta run over and ask her. So I did.
Sure.
She's like, oh yeah, it's up there. It's the next cul-de-sac up, which it was.
Mhm.
There was a bus thing there, but that was for the tour.
Mhm.
And then shit, there must have been what, 4 people? Like
Mhm.
you said, at the we asked, and one's pointing this direction, one's pointing that direction.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, finally, and I knew you were getting irritated, and Chris didn't
Mhm.
want to walk anymore because Mike's girlfriend
Mhm.
Chris was obviously with us too. And then
Sure.
finally, you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna walk all over fucking hell. You're like, I'm done.
Right.
We're not going anymore. And somebody had recommended just, oh yeah, it was Mara and her
Right.
friends were
Yeah.
gonna drive over there. So
Mhm.
then we walked another 4 fucking blocks or 5 blocks back to the parking garage,
The
and
car. Right.
fucking drove our asses over there. But it was
Mhm.
fine. But the funniest part was as we were doing that, I don't even think I mentioned it to you. Um, because I gotten a new pair of tennis shoes because I wanted something a little bit more comfortable than my Converse. And do you remember you're
Mhm.
like, yeah, whatever, man. It's not like we're gonna be walking around a lot.
Right.
And I think we probably walked more this time and got
Mhm.
nowhere than we
Right.
ever have before.
Right.
But
Definitely.
no, it was a good time. I mean, it was nice and it was a beautiful day. And the meeting, it was that the speaker that they had. What was she say 5 years ago, something like
Yeah,
that,
5
four,
years
four or
ago
five.
when, we got interrupted by a thunderstorm and they had
Yeah,
to shut things down. Yeah.
yeah, and she was. I mean, she was cool enough. She sounded like Rosie Perez, as
Mhm.
her kind of voice. But like Kathy said that because finally I looked over at you after we were probably like an hour into the lead, wouldn't you think, or
Right. Yeah.
close to it. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of like looked over to you because Chris was in
Mhm.
between you and I. I'm like, you good? When you want to head out? You're like, oh, I can leave.
Yep, yep.
Then I kind of nudged Kathy. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna head out. And she's like, oh, really? But
Mhm.
yeah, Kathy had said probably the perfect way. She's like, she had a decent enough story. She goes, I wish she was just better at speaking.
Right.
Which again, I mean, she had a rough one. I mean, no doubt. Had a
Sure.
rough upbringing and all the shit she went through and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
at her lead, well, and again, we've heard thousands now, probably, but
Mhm.
every once in a while, just that. Well, there's probably a lot of leads. There's probably every once in a while that one actually grabs our attention.
Right.
That's probably a better way to put it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say, probably about 20% at this point. Yeah. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
something will jump out at me, Yeah, right, and the rest of them, I mean, again, we've talked about it on here, we do not like drunkalogs, and a lot of leads are drunkalogs and whatever, especially newer people, and that's fine, they need to get it out, and that's good, but I don't need to hear it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. You figure that, new people. I mean, when they lead for the first, if they do lead a lot, when they're
Mhm,
newly sober, at least in the Cleveland area, it's between that first and second year or so.
right,
They don't have much sober experience, so what else do
mhm,
they have to talk about?
right,
It's just it's how I got there. It's not really what they've done much to stay sober
mhm,
because
mhm,
that entire year, a lot of people are just kind of like going with the flow, hanging out with people,
Right.
and just kind of going flowing down the river, and not knowing what they're
Exactly.
doing anyhow. So
Yeah. You know, feeling that shame and trying to figure out how to get rid of it.
right. Yeah, see,
Right.
we went back to the reading twice, the acting as if,
Mhm.
and then the ridding ourselves of shame. So but yeah, so I mean, it was good. I'm glad we went. I mean, I had a nice time. I'm
Oh, of
glad we
course. Yeah.
made it down there, and yeah, we didn't actually go through Dr. Bob's house, but got some pictures in
Right.
front of it. And well, I had posted
Mhm.
a bunch of the pictures on Instagram anyhow. So if anyone
Right.
that's listening follows us, you probably saw the pictures. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's always a good. It's one of the things that I know all of us look forward to when we get to
Mhm.
go. So it was cool.
Absolutely. And it's fellowship, seeing people we haven't seen and all that good
Right.
stuff. So, yep. Absolutely. Being a part of.
Yeah, being a part, acting as if, being a part of, and getting rid of shame.
Mhm.
uh, so we good on that, or anything else that popped into your head about Founders Day?
No, that was about it. Yeah. If you don't have an answer to the question, say you don't have an answer to the question. Please. Please.
Right. Yeah. Don't, in that case, don't act as if you know. Ha
Right.
ha.
Right.
So, last weekend Father's Day, what did you do everything you thought you wanted to do? You slept, and that's about
I
all you
slept.
did, or?
Yeah. Yeah. I slept in till almost 11, which I never do. And then about 2 o'clock, I took a nap. It was wonderful.
Were you able to go to sleep that night? I mean, you basically slept all day,
Yeah, that was a little rough, but
right?
that's okay. Yeah, it was fine. I was dragging a little bit on Monday, but I had also caught up. That sleep bank was full, so it was fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's, and I think we I don't know if we've talked about it on here, but I used to take naps when we were at the Three Quarter House. Actually, well, when we
Right?
were still at the Keating Center, I'd work a half
Hmm.
a day on Friday or work half a day on Saturday. I get back to wherever, either the Three Quarter House or when we were at the Keating Center, and no one was there. I had nothing fucking better to do, so I just
Right?
laid out, take a nap until somebody got back to wherever we were, and usually woke me up, and I'm just like, oh, okay, now I got something to do, somebody to
Hmm.
fucking talk to or go do something with.
Right?
But yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I'm sure I could. I know I could take a nap, but that would be my biggest thing is, am I going to be able to sleep that night? But so that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I was up. Well, I was up at Appleton, and
Right?
it was nice. It was really really nice hanging out with them. And I don't think I got back to. I don't think I got back to Indiana until shit 6, something like that, which is cool.
Hmm.
I mean, we were
Hmm.
hanging out for a better part of the day. But so what was cool though, I mean, Derek ended up calling me, and obviously I was with, Kimmy and Brian, and of course my grandson, and I got a
Hmm.
text from Pam. For everyone, that's my first ex-wife. She always sends me a text on Father's Day, birthdays, Christmas, all that stuff. Which again, it's one of the gifts. I mean, it's doesn't
Absolutely.
have to, but I do the same thing for her. I send her
Hmm.
stuff on Mother's Day and her birthday and all that sort of things. And then I get a really nice text from Dawn, and once again, for everyone out there, that's my son's mom, and
Hmm.
I talked about this before, but and it doesn't. First of all, I just want to preface this: it does not bother me that she doesn't make a big deal out of my sobriety. It
Hmm.
doesn't, because she's she's done more for me than I could ever ask of her, ever could have
Right?
imagined, and I don't need her. I don't need that reassurance from her. But when
Right?
she says something, either wishes me a happy anniversary or whatever the deal is, it's
Hmm.
super fucking meaningful.
Right?
Which
Right?
is cool. And I know she knows, but she just doesn't have to say it all the time, and it doesn't bother me. But she sent me a text, and I'm not going to read it off word for word because I was thinking about like texting her and saying, "Hey, do you mind if I read this on our
Hmm.
podcast?" But I'm like, "I fucking do that." But
Right?
the basic gist of it was, she said Happy Father's Day and said how great it was every year that I get to do this, to be there, on Father's Day,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's without her saying it, that's a direct result of my obviously my sobriety. but she had
Right.
talked about it, and I thanked her, and I said it meant a lot to me, and she just followed up with something along those lines, saying that it means a lot to it means something to her, it means something to Derek. I could be there for him, and I could be there for Kimmy, and she says now Ollie,
Right.
and my grandson, so I was just like, fucking a, it's
Yeah.
it was
Right. It
wonderful.
feels pretty fucking good. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, um, it almost left me speechless because there
Mm,
there's no reason in the world that she's not obligated to it. There's nothing that was prompted to do it. She'll
right.
wish me a happy Father's Day. She does it. I think every year, and I same
Hmm.
thing on Mother's Day, and I thank her for all the things that she's done. But I don't know. It again it people if people are wondering out there, why are they doing all this and when are they going to get their family back and all these sort of things.
Hmm.
If anyone has listened at all past episodes and some of the shit that I did and the hell that I put her through, if you know what
Hmm.
hell that you put people through in your life, I did the same thing, and this is my ex-wife, and that's what I get in return. It's
Right.
and it didn't take 13 years to get there. It just happened to be that at this year she said that, and she said and said nice things to me and treats me wonderfully and trusts me and cares about me, and
Hmm.
it's just you can't. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It just
Right.
wow.
Yeah. And that's it enough. Right. Yeah. And it's not the big, ooh, we're so glad you're sober. Oh, you're so fucking wonderful no, you're just being a good boy and you're getting the results of that. That's all. And
Right.
that's fucking
Right.
huge to us. Yeah. I think it means more than all that other
Oh.
bullshit. Yeah. Oh, you're so wonderful. No, I'm not fucking wonderful. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm glad you appreciate that.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
and so this is my follow-up question that I had in parentheses to that. You
Hmm.
know, and again, I appreciate everything, that she did, and I mean that wholeheartedly. But my follow-up
Right.
question, and again, I don't mean this in a bad way, but do you think that people at this point in our sobriety that people expect us to stay sober, and we have that basically it's our responsibility now at this
Hmm.
point, not just for ourselves but now to not let people down. I mean, am I thinking the right way on that? That's kind of,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, yeah, again, talk about that good feeling that, I don't think they actually consciously expect us to stay sober. I think probably subconsciously they expect us not to. Um,
Right.
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 You know, the back of their heads like, oh shit, any day now,
Right.
it's going to happen. But yes, but we've built up the trust and that's what means something. Yeah, the responsibility. I need to stay sober because I don't want to disappoint these people. I hurt them enough and made their lives shit for so long. Working that ninth step forever. I was talking to somebody about that tonight at the baseball game. Um, yeah, yes, it is a responsibility, and I'm glad to have it. I am. I don't want to shirk that responsibility today. I want to be trustworthy. I want people to count on me today. Wow, that's fucking weird, man. I didn't want anybody to count on me at all, man. Responsibility. Fuck that.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
this program changes us for the better. We are better
Right.
men because of it. People can count on us, and I want them to.
Well, and it's just, and I, not that it's certainly not the first time that I've thought about something like that, but, and I
Right.
don't look at it, I look at it as um, it's a wonderful responsibility to have,
Hmm.
I don't look at it as a burden figure. Now, fuck,
Oh God, no.
now I got to stay sober type of thing. And,
Right.
and it's not that way, but, and you're right. It's probably in the back of people's mind. There's gotta be, and we've talked about that before there. And I think there should always be that little bit of,
Hmm.
is that person okay? Whoever that person
Right.
may be. But
Hmm.
if somebody, if my son calls me at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, it
Hmm.
makes I know he expects me to answer the phone, and he doesn't expect me to be drunk.
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
Right.
if he needs something or my kids need something, shit, if my ex-wife needed something,
Mm-hmm.
um, they I think they know, and it's an expectation, not in a bad way, but they know they can make
Mm-hmm.
a phone call, and I'm going to be available, and
Right.
I mean, you're going to be where you say you are. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're going to be there for people in your life, people you work for, all those different things. It I don't know, it's just what we do, man.
Yeah. Exactly. And yes, and in a strange way, it is strange because it's not my nature. Yeah, I'm grateful that I get to have that responsibility. Weird, man.
I know.
But it's there. But it's there. I am truly grateful that I get to have that responsibility, that burden on me. Good. Yes, burden me, please.
Right. No, it is. It seriously, it made me think about that, because seriously, it wasn't in a bad way, but after reading that, just that super nice text from her, and like
Hmm.
figuring, yeah, that's kind of cool, for her
Right.
to just say shit like that. But then it's kind of like, well, she's saying that because she just, kind of it's what I do.
Because it's the truth. It's the reality of our lives today.
Yeah.
And again, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, we're Popeye now. I am what I am.
Yeah, but I am.
That's
And
all that I
it's a good
am.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, right. Not the other way. I am what I
Right.
am, and that's all that I am. Hmm.
Yeah, but it was a really nice day. So, and then yeah,
Good.
tomorrow I'm heading up to Wisconsin too. Um and we had planned on that. God, it was when I was up there for Katie's graduation. So that was middle of May, because yeah,
Right.
that's when Kylie graduated, 15th, 13th of May, whatever that was. And we were
Hmm.
trying to figure out, because Kimmy wanted to figure out a time that she thought Brian was going to be out tomorrow too, but he isn't. For them to come down, I was going to come up. We are just going to hang out at the house, and then there's a town in outside of Germantown, it's Cedarburg. They have it's a strawberry fest they have in the early summer, and then they have this like wine festival or whatever in the fall, and it's a
Hmm.
really small. It's Cedarburg reminds me of this, almost like a quaint little, I don't know, like a New England type of town. It's that type of little quaintness downtown area.
Sure.
But and I mean, some of the shops and things like that are super cool, but also like some expensive areas now, expensive restaurants. But these
Hmm.
festivals are huge, and Kimmy had mentioned that, and then she mentioned last weekend. She's like, I really want to go to that. I was going to talk to Dawn and see if we all want to go there. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And she's like, I said,
Right.
is that the strawberry fest or is that the wine one? And she's like, no. She's like, it's not the wine one. I'm like, she's like, I wouldn't ask you to a wine festival. I'm like, well, here's the thing. I said,
Mm.
if it was all of us going and you wanted to go to a wine festival, I would
Hmm.
go because I'm with you
Right.
guys. I'm like,
Hmm.
I didn't want to hang out at the fucking Cedarburg Wine Festival by myself.
No.
First of all, don't like wine and I don't drink, so two things,
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, it's just it's a nice little get together thing. So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
so I'm
I'm with
so
the
I'm
family.
yeah,
If there's the
exactly.
reason.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah. I mean, once again, I don't know, wherever it would be, if it was Wine Fest, it'd be Wine Fest. But she's like,
Hmm.
oh, I guess, okay. So yeah, so I'm
Right.
heading up there. Heading up there again tomorrow. So that'll be nice. I don't know what time I'm going to leave in the morning,
Nice.
but yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. But yeah, it was like I said, it was a nice weekend, and yeah,
Cool.
I don't know, just all in all, nice weekend. So
Yeah. I've actually got something that I can't talk about 'cause it's a secret, but a bunch of drunks getting together tomorrow. That's all I'll say.
right,
Yeah. We can talk about it next week because, like I said, it's a surprise. But yes,
right.
it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And I know what it is. So yeah,
I
just
know you do.
so guess what, everyone? We got a secret.
We got a secret that we will tell you about next week,
Yeah, exactly. It was
but it
funny.
doesn't have to be a secret.
Right. It was funny. I thought about that because I saw a message about it shortly before we started recording, and
Mhm.
oh yeah, shit, that's right. We can't. There's nothing that could be brought up about that anywhere.
Right.
So, but yeah. So I wasn't going to say anything one way or the other. But yeah, that'll be a good
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah, and the little baseball game I went to tonight. That's why we're recording late. Was cool. It was for one of the sober houses out in Lorain County, which is a county adjacent to Cuyahoga, where Cleveland is. Yeah, it was a good time. Minor league baseball game. The Lake Erie Crushers. But it was nice. Nice little park. Cool, watching some baseball, and again, it's for a good cause, and a bunch of drunks and junkies hanging out. Saw some people I hadn't seen in a while, which was nice. Your buddy Paul Sandusky was there.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, he's actually doing good. He's doing. I see him around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
yeah. So yeah, it was good. It's a good time.
That's cool. And that was that the one that Melissa was selling tickets for?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
So everyone, yeah, Melissa that we had on got a handful of, well, shit, probably month. When the
A couple
fuck?
months ago,
God, was
right?
it that
Yeah, I
long
don't know.
ago? I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. I suppose we're on episode 70 already. Can you imagine that? Episode
Right.
70. Yeah, we're coming up on our. We're gonna have to flip over to season 4 here in a little while when you get to episode
Shit.
70. What am I thinking of? 52, 78. Oh shit, that's only 8
Mm,
episodes away. Damn. Okay.
right. 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool.
All
Um,
right.
all right, so yeah, baseball game, Father's Day, Founders Day, all that good stuff. So there was and I read this in the 24-hour book at some point recently. So the
Hmm.
last line in the first section had read, and I wrote it down because I try to, and if anyone reads the 24-hour book, whether you do or don't, there's a question at the end of the first section. Every day, every reading, it's always a
Right.
question that I try to answer. And I answer it
Hmm.
honestly. And we brought a couple of those up on here. I know that I'm just like, because I can't answer the question or I don't know how to answer it.
Yeah.
So this one, it wasn't a really like a hard question, but I thought it'd be an interesting one. It just said it was simple. It just said, "What is my purpose for today?" And
Mm,
and I kind of brushed by it because it was one of those ones where it's not a yes or no question. I mean, I couldn't just say yes
hmm.
and go on.
Right.
And then
Right.
I don't remember what I thought in my head, but I'm like, I'm gonna make a note of that because I thought that might be an interesting
Hmm.
one. So not necessarily that day when you read that reading, but if anyone just walked up to you on a random Tuesday and said, from
Hmm.
Mike, sober Mike, what's your purpose for
Hmm.
today? What would your answer be?
Well, that's kind of an easy one. Make my little corner of the world a better place.
Oh,
That's
God damn it!
yep.
Well, shit. Oh, listen.
Right.
Next item. No, but I couldn't.
And whatever that entails for that particular whatever situation I'm in. But that's the umbrella answer.
Right.
Yeah, try to again, this little section of space that I occupy, try to make it better for, the people around me, and then it makes it better for me too.
Right.
Um yeah, I don't know.
No, and you don't have to think any further than that. I mean, I was kind of fucking around because that's a perfect answer, and I
Mm,
think that the only thing that really popped into my head, and I don't remember what I said to myself, whatever day I read that, but um,
right.
my first thought right now is just, obviously number one, stay sober. That's my purpose,
Sure.
and then everything
Hmm.
else should fall into place. However, it's going to fall into place,
Right.
however it's supposed to fall.
Right.
But
Yep, definitely.
oh fuck, man, I like your answer better because that's what we say all the
All
time.
right. Well, can I talk about my special purpose?
Yes, yes. And we watched that movie when I was out there.
We did. We watched The Jerk. Yes, we did.
Yeah, because
Special purpose? I have one of those. Your mother's gonna love me.
what was funny was is you said some line from the movie, and I'm like, what? And you're like, the Steve Martin from The Jerk. I'm like, I don't remember that line. And I think you sound like you don't remember that. I'm like, I said it's been a long time since I've watched that. I'm like, I should watch that again
Mhm.
soon. You're like, I have the DVD. I'm like, really? So yeah, Mike trotted his ass upstairs, grabbed the DVD, and we watched.
Mhm.
We watched The Jerk. It's pretty
He
fucking
did.
funny. Yeah, if
Yep.
I don't know if you've never seen it. I mean, it's a what is that? 70? We looked that up. 76, wasn't it?
79.
Oh, 79. Okay, I think I said
Yep.
76 when we were talking about it too. But either way, it's been a while, but it's a good movie.
It is.
All right, so you have your special purpose. Good.
I do.
Um,
It's right here.
Mike just had his hand on his penis. Everybody.
Wow. I didn't say I had my hand on it. I just said it was right here.
Yeah, you had your hand on it. I know better. All right, so next topic.
Right.
So, I was listening to, and this again probably from a few weeks ago, but I was listening to the
Mhm.
Sober Friends podcast, of course, with our friend Matt, and they were
Mhm.
talking about setting boundaries. Have we ever talked about
Mhm.
that? Setting boundaries in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
No.
So, and I guess it doesn't even really matter how they were talking about it. Just
Mhm.
setting boundaries in general, whether it be, I guess, even off the top of my head, sober boundaries, boundaries with people, boundaries with work, whatever it is. And I think we've talked about, maybe we didn't, but how we were in early sobriety, maybe versus how we are today, as far as saying no or
Mhm.
agreeing to things or people pleasing and that sort of thing. But I
Right.
mean, do you have like a particular mindset as far as things you're like, these are my boundaries for this and that, or anything right off the top of your head as far as things that you're going to say yes or no to, or is it just kind of a as you go type of thing?
Certainly as I go, but I mean, the general rule for me is honesty. I've never liked bullshit very much, uh, even though I was full of it. Um, right, but no. If seriously, run like everything else in my life. Run the absolutes, man. Is it honest? Is it pure? Is it loving? Is it unselfish? Um, and yeah, those are kind of my boundaries today. I don't put up. I don't suffer fools very well. I I'm not going to be around a bunch of bullshit. So that's kind of my boundaries. Um, but I don't really have to worry about that too much today. I have built my life in such a way that um, that's just not really part of anything. My friends are all generally people who are trying to do the next right thing, just like I am, and everybody in my life. I can't think of anyone. If you're not trying to do the next right thing, you're not in my life. It's kind of that simple.
Yeah,
And it's true. It really is. I don't have anyone in my life that's not trying to do the next right thing, whether they're sober or not, whether they're in the program or not. There are no bad people in my life today.
right.
There just aren't. Don't allow it. I, there's my fucking boundary right there. I do not allow bullshit and bad people in my life today at all. So if you're in my life, hey, good job.
Here's your gift. You're in my life.
Right. Lucky you.
It's just the when you finally got to the point, and I like how you sometimes you sway back and forth on things. Finally, like you're
Mm,
like, no, there's my boundary. I don't put up with
yeah.
bullshit anymore.
Right.
which which is perfect. It's just how you get to those
Mm.
sometimes. It's just great. All of a sudden you this light bulb in your head goes off. You're like,
Right.
no, this is my boundary.
Wait a
God
minute.
damn
Yeah, right.
it. Well, and I thought about, and I don't remember what they were. I think Matt was talking about something with a work thing, and being able to
Mhm.
say no to people, and
Mhm.
it's before. I mean, I said no to obviously staying on for those
Right.
extra few days, and I mean, I did. I took the time though. Maybe that's another thing that to kind
Mhm.
of go back to that to a certain extent. Is my initial reaction was fuck you. I'm, I'm
Of
not going to
course.
do it. But I'm like, I emailed her back, just said, I said, let me think about this a bit. I said, I'll email you
Mhm.
back after lunch. And that gave me another hour, and I don't get an hour for lunch, or didn't take an hour
Mhm.
for lunch, but it just gave me some time between then and when I knew I was going to be
Right.
back from lunch, to think about it. But I thought more about, when early sobriety and not being able to say no, and,
Mhm.
saying yes to
Mhm.
like everything because I felt obligated for it. And, you know,
Right.
these days if I say no to something, I don't say no because I don't feel like it,
Mm.
especially if it's, well, I can't even say that. maybe back to your point too, if it's somebody that's doing the right thing and wants something done for the right reasons, and it's somebody I
Hmm.
care about and that sort of thing,
Right.
then if I can't, I will explain, and there's usually going to be a good reason behind it,
Right.
not a bullshit one.
Right. Exactly.
Because I shouldn't, and I don't need to lie about things, today. But sometimes that if my first reaction is no, I take a minute to think about it. And this was an interesting example tonight. When you had when did you text me about? It was probably Monday or Tuesday, right? I think about doing this late tonight. Man, did I lose you again? All right, this might be a take 3.
You there?
Yep. Oh, you're there.
There we are.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep, I'm here. Yeah, I think you're losing something on your end because I keep you just knocked out again. I'm still gonna wait a minute to see if you're there. So we're getting a voice here and there. Oh, it looks like Mike's gone. Okay, looks like we're gonna have a take 3. So we'll be back in just a moment. Hello, take 3. Ah, and you know what? All of this, you figure, all this shit happens when we're recording late, and now I end up with, I'm gonna
Right.
end up with 3 clips. This one's probably not going to be very long. I think both of us
Hmm.
are pretty fucking tired, but
I
um,
think somebody's trying to tell us something.
yeah, they're like, get the fuck off,
Right.
man.
Shut the fuck up and go to bed.
So I mean, it'll be interesting. The first one's fine. That one cut off. The second one was weird. The clips were
Right.
still processing, but I don't know. Fuck it. By
And
by the time.
for some reason, I lost my internet. I have no idea why.
Right. Are you downstairs? No, you're upstairs.
No, I'm upstairs. I'm
That's
all,
weird.
yeah, wired in up here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Anyway, I don't know.
Anyhow, so I'm trying to think on here. We are talking about I think the special purpose was the last thing. Or no.
With
The
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yep.
Boundaries, yeah, the boundaries. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean mainly just to wrap all that up. It's just I was thinking about, the more the people pleasing in these days, I mean I'm not afraid to say no as long as I'm
Hmm.
doing it for the right reason, I guess
Right.
is the right way to put it. But
And
I
I'm not
again,
afraid to say yes if I'm doing it
yeah.
for the right reason. Right.
Yeah. But I do,
Mhm.
I like your mindset too about, yeah, I don't deal with the bullshit.
Nope.
So I get just a real quick thing, which is kind of fun.
Right.
I mean, you're not on video, so you didn't get to see it. I got my eyes checked on. When I go in yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I hadn't had an eye
Mhm.
exam. It's been too long, 5 years, I think, something like that.
All right.
And with contacts, you're supposed to get it done yearly, but lazy and is what it is, and I kept being able to order contacts. But I don't know if I ever told you, but I've been asking about they call them, I think, multi-focus or multi-range, whatever. They're like bifocal type of contacts.
Okay.
And I've been asking for those for a number of years, saying, "Am I a good candidate for them?" So I didn't want to
Hmm.
wear reading glasses.
Right.
And again, not a vanity thing. I just sick of carrying them around.
Right.
So they finally got to the point. This doctor is like, she's like, yeah. She goes, let's try you out in these, get a test run, whatever. They're fucking wonderful. It's a little
Right.
bit to get used to.
Sure.
So like right now, I mean, it's I mean, well, I have the light on in the room, but I'd never be able to read any of this shit on the paper.
Hmm.
Still a little bit. I'm guessing it might be a low light type of thing. Still,
Hmm.
but oh, it's fucking great. I can't tell you how many times though. I got back from the eye appointment. It was like at 11:40 yesterday, and all said and done, by the time I was sitting down waiting for her, because I'm getting a pair of glasses too, because I haven't had glasses in a long time, like for a
Hmm.
backup.
Right.
But I'm sitting there waiting for that, and I'm sitting there reading my phone. As I'm sitting there waiting, I'm like, "Fuck, man,
Hmm.
I wouldn't have been able to do this."
Mm.
So it's kind of cool. But yeah,
Nice.
it's one of those where because the doctor was saying, she's like, it's your choice. You can do this or that. And I said, none of it's a vanity thing. I said, I don't care about having quote unquote bifocal or multifocus, whatever type of fucking lenses.
Hmm.
If I can see better without having two pairs of whatever, having contacts
Hmm.
and readers or vice
Right.
versa, I'm like, that's what I want to do. They're more
Hmm.
expensive.
Hmm.
which fucking sucks, but kind of is what it is. But
Right.
yeah,
What you
so
pay
I
for,
just
man.
Yeah. But as I'm sitting here, I'm just, I've got the piece of paper in my hand without any fucking glasses on my face. But the funny part is that, again, by the time I got home yesterday, I can't tell you how many times I've reached for my glasses to put them on,
Sure.
or reached at my face to take them off. Because especially being, I was wearing them when I work on the computer and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And, I mean, that's what I'm doing most of the time. But yeah, it's all fucking funny. But you know what? And I'm sure I've got a lot of other stuff on here, but as I'm looking, I'm just doing the math. We had 10, 20, 40, yeah, we've got close to, it's probably an hour and 20 minutes. We've been yipping
Mhm.
and yapping, all said and done. Unless you got anything else on your mind or whatever, I think we pushed the envelope as far as it could be pushed so far this week.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a long goddamn week, and I'm done. And you know what? We got another hour and a half to fill up next week, so
Right. It was
let's
just
save a
funny.
little something.
Even since I was just saying, we've got enough, if we're, push the envelope enough, and same deal, I'm not hearing anything in the background. I'm like, fuck, did I just fucking lose him again? Because if I lost you, I was just going to close out whatever the fuck way I felt
Yeah,
like
that's
it
it. Yeah,
and be
right.
done. But yeah, let's not push the envelope any farther. Mike, fucking close us out.
Please. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. God knows we worked hard enough to get it to you this week.
We're getting
It
paid
is
by the failure.
exactly. We're rich men now. Um, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else this week. Make your little corner of the world a better place, assholes. And now it is time. It is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over the gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I even heard you mess up, and I'm letting it be.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
I ain't fucking with nothing. It's just kind of like, I feel like this, everything's about like a house of cards is about to fall. I'm just gonna let
It
it
is.
sit. It's like,
And you know
woo.
what? Right. And I've been up for God, we're working on 18 hours now. So yep.
Right. Well, and that's why I told Kimmy for tomorrow. I said, what time's this thing open, and what time do you want to be there? And she's planning on being the dawns at like 10 or 11 in the morning. I'm like, I'm not going to be there that early.
No.
Because I told her, I'm like, we're not recording till late. By the time it's said and done, it'll be, I mean, at this point, it'll be, midnight or 12:30 by the time I get done,
Right.
which is fine. It's not a big deal, but I'm like, I want to get a little bit of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I think I could still make it up there by noon. So that'll be good.
Right. Good.
Yeah,
Well,
so
give everybody my love and all that good stuff, and kiss the little man for me because he's getting, Jesus Christ. Is he driving yet?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude. I mean, it's crazy. He's changing by the fucking minute, but all in a good way, But he's just he's fucking wonderful, I mean, but yeah, he wears an old guy like me out, but in the very best way possible. So, all right, man, I love you, and I know we will talk
Love you
soon, and
too.
then hopefully you guys have fun tomorrow. I'm sure I'll see pictures or hear about it. So,
Oh yeah. We got nothing to hide today.
right, exactly. All right, I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.